Has been good. This is a good team we're facing in Tennessee. Very good on special teams, have been for a long time. Know them very well. Just from watching them and studying them over years past. But this is a really good team we're playing. I think our preparation's been good. It's been nice to be down here in warmer weather and sunshine and a little bit of clouds, but good sunshine down here.
Tell us about your title game. Cullen makes that huge tackle. What was your reaction to that play?
My reaction to the play was I couldn't figure out why he didn't make the tackle the first time, inside the 10. And he and I have talked about that. It's a great play by him, great effort by him, but also feel like he could have made a great play on the front end. I also think it speaks to him and speaks to his effort and how he plays. It speaks to our culture here at Iowa about never giving up, always finishing plays. I just wish he would have tackled the returner on the first 7-yard line instead of the opposite 7-yard line.
Can you tell us about your trip to Australia?
Yeah, it was a good trip, fruitful trip, definitely long, and took me a few days, almost a week or so to get back to normal coming back here. But it's a good trip. The young man that's coming in here is an incredible young man, great family. His mom is actually from the United States. Dad grew up as a farmer, so it's kind of interesting. A farmer in Australia. It's interesting the ties back here to Iowa. Obviously, he and Tori know each other a little bit, and I'm really excited for him to get here as I am the other freshmen coming in too.
Can you compare the two? Is he similar to Tori personality-wise at all? Are they different styles of guys? I know he's a little bit younger than Tori was.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to compare anybody to Tori and compare those guys. Obviously, he knows he's going to walk in a situation where there are big shoes to fill. Expectations can be high, all those kind of things, but he's got to be himself, and that's one of the conversations I have with his parents, and then with him separately. Don't come in here trying to be someone else. Be yourself. We recruit you because we like you, not because we expect you to be like somebody else. And that's any player that you bring in here to recruit someone. But I think he's definitely a talented kid. He's a little bit younger, so there's some maturity and some growth that happens with younger players as opposed to older players. But I'm anxious for him to get here and can't wait to work with him.
You had some in-state guys too. There were punters really highly acclaimed, but you zeroed in on Reese. So what was it about him that was so attractive to bring him to Iowa?
Yeah, I think if you just follow kind of how we've done things here, you look at talking about Tori. He's done an excellent job here. That's really hard for us not to go back to that same type of deal and feel very strongly about the guy coming in as I do with Tori going out. And wish everyone well and wish everyone their best moving forward in their careers, and definitely follow those guys, but just definitely feel like we got the right guy.
Can you imagine could you have imagined the career that Tori did end up having? I mean, from kicking a punt off the ground to empty stadiums to getting off the plane in Australia. He told me about the time in Minnesota where it was so cold and you laughed at him.
Yeah,
what can you say about his journey that's about to end?
I think his journey is incredible, but I also think it speaks to him and kind of how things are here at Iowa. This is a place where you can come, you can be yourself. It's a place where you can come and you can start to thrive and develop as a person, not only as a player but as a person. It starts at the top with Coach Ferentz. Myself, the other coaches on our staff that have played under Coach Ferentz have been not only developed as players but been developed as people. And there's no better person to watch every single day than Coach Ferentz. All the ups and downs of being a man and being a human being. Like we've seen Coach Ferentz do all those things firsthand, and I think it speaks not only to him but all the guys that have followed him and watching him, and then you add in the recruiting piece. It's no better place than Iowa for a young man to come into and thrive and develop. So I think Tori's been a benefactor of that. Definitely happy with what he's done here. He's got a very bright future at the next level. Anxious to watch him and anxious to help be a part of that.
How much do you care about Tori having the all-time record for a single season punting?
How much do I care about it?
Yeah.
I mean, I want everything that he can possibly have that's good for him. I don't think it has any effect on us, game plan, or anything like that. But definitely excited for Tori and want him to have all the things that he can possibly get.
How difficult is it prepping for a team when you're not really sure who's going to be out there?
As far as
they're the Tennessee Volunteers.
Are you talking personnel?
Personnel, yes.
Yeah, special teams is like that every week.
Okay.
You never really know who's in, who's out, and basically have to find their best players and what do they do best and try to try to zero in on them. So I think that's probably a little bit more lens to special teams because we do that every week. And frankly, on our side, we're not always sure who's in, who's out, based off what their role is on offense or defense. So I think it's pretty standard old hat. Offense, defense. I don't want to speak for those guys.
How has Drew responded to his little slump that he had at the end of the year?
I think Drew's been working incredibly hard. Drew is an incredibly talented young man. He's also very young, and I think we've all seen some of those things. I think he hit a little bump in the road, but he's worked incredibly hard, and I think his teammates have been very supportive of him, talking about the specialists in particular, and watching him work. And Drew's going to be fine. Drew's, long term, I think is phenomenal talent, and I'm really anxious to see him get back on the field. I know he's anxious to get back on the field as well.
How much of a teachable moment was Cohen's effort? Not the execution of missing a tackle inside 5, but getting up and running. And I've seen it, hundreds of coaches on Twitter saying, "Look, this is the kind of effort we need." And I guess from that perspective,
it's definitely a teachable moment, I think, from all levels of football. But it's also a microcosm or metaphor for life, right? Like when you screw something up, or you mess something up, you get yourself up, you bust your tail, and you finish. And that's what that play is. And I think you can look at that, not to get totally philosophical. I think that's a really metaphor for life. And I think as the years go by and go back and look at those plays, a little fresh for me right now to be like overly excited about that play, because I also feel like we could have made it the front end, But I think long term, it's definitely a great play. It's a play that people should show often when you're talking about effort.
Are there any younger players who've really these past 4 weeks or so have really stood out to you during kind of bowl prep practices?
I think there are, and it's really not anyone brand new. It's more guys that we've seen early on that are getting more work and getting better, getting more reps, more work. I think Terrell Washington's one of those. Kamari Moulton's one of those. A little bit older but a fresher guy, and Jake Bostic. Some guys that, from a special team standpoint, they're really starting to step up. Zach Lutmer's one of those guys that we've sort of had our eye on all year at the beginning of training camp, but now they're really getting the opportunity to get out there and get some good work with the developmental practice we're having, and then a little bit extra time.
Okay, thanks.